Hi, Abraham. I think that mostly I'm afraid of what I can create. I feel like what stops me is that I don't love myself. I don't think I'm beautiful enough. I can feel, to the degree that I think I can't have something, there it hovers right there. And I feel like a couple times in my life, 15, 20 years ago, I let go, and the magic and the flow was so incredible that it was like a dream, and I turned around and I go, oh my God, what's this? And boom, it was gone. And I just think that I think I'm actually just, I know what I want, and I think I'm terrified of it actually manifesting in my life. Like, it would be too powerful, it would be too much. I don't know how I could then stand up to it and keep creating more and more and more.
That will not be a problem. In other words, whatever you are ready for, in other words, to be ready for it, you must be in vibrational harmony with it. You see, we do not feel that your fear is about what might happen. We feel that your fear is a representation of contradicted energy. You see, what is fear anyway? What is the feeling that I am? Are you using that word lightly? In other words, when is it something that you've heard someone else say? When you are using the word fear, do you mean it?
I think I take it very seriously. A definition I've heard of fear is false evidence appearing real. But I believe that it's real instead of just saying it's not real.
Let us give you a definition of fear that will help you moment by moment, especially if you are in the moment of fear. What fear is the feeling I have when I'm holding a desire in my conscious attention and a belief that contradicts it in the same moment. In other words, what fear is the feeling of summoning energy because I have a desire and not letting it flow because I have a belief. Mm-hmm. The best literal, visual example of fear that we could give you is, imagine a room fan blowing air on you. You know it's on because you can feel the air. It's quiet because it's heavy-duty fan and very well made. Now stick your pencil in the fan. Would be quite a ruckus, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Well, that pencil in the fan is like what negative emotion is. It's very much like what that fear is. When you introduce a lower, slower vibration to a higher, faster one, the result is a slowing of the faster vibration. You see, we want you to think of yourselves as the vibrational extensions of pure essence that you really are. In other words, you are physical extensions of this very high, fast frequency energy. And we say high, and we say pure, and we say fast, all meaning the same thing. There's not resistance in the non-physical energy. It's a high, pure, fast frequency. But when you take the negative beliefs from your physical surroundings and you include them in the process that is you, then it's like sticking the pencil in the fan. So a feeling of doubt or a feeling of fear, let's start at the beginning. Imagine that you are very young, and someone who in this particular moment is well connected to their source energy, so they are in the moment in love with you, or in appreciation of you, or in adoration of you, or in love with life. And as this person who is well connected to the stream is holding you as their object of attention, it feels good to be the subject of their focus. As they smile at you, it feels good. As they say, you are good, it feels good. As they say, good things will come to you, it feels good. Because they are influencing you through their connection to source energy to be connected to source energy. In other words, they are flooding you with that energy. But let's say another person is angry about something, maybe even about something you've done, and they're holding you in the spotlight of their attention. But in this moment, they're not connected to the stream, and they're saying to you, you are wrong, or you are bad, or you are naughty, or you have done wrong. That emotion that you feel with that projection of attention feels like negative emotion. because they are influencing you to a vibration far apart from the vibration of your source. We want so much for you to feel your way through all of this. In other words, you know that feeling of relief. Have you ever experienced fear or anger or blame or frustration or doubt or any of those icky negative emotions that you feel right in your stomach, and then something happened to change your belief in the moment and you felt relief? That feeling of relief is the feeling of your vibration raising. That feeling of relief is what happens when you take your attention from whatever it is that has caused the negative vibration. We want you to hear this analogy because this analogy speaks to what you're talking about more than all other things that we might say to you today. Imagine a cork bobbing on a body of water. It's up there on the surface in our analogy what we would call the high vibration. Now take hold of the cork and hold it under the water. That's what negative emotion is. It is holding a thought of a lower vibration and therefore separating yourself by virtue of your thought from your source energy. Separation is too strong of word because there is truly no separation. Even in death there is not separation but true connection to source energy. But the cork under the water is what negative emotion is. Now here's the part we want you to hear. In the moment that you take your attention away from whatever it is that is causing the cork to be under the water, the cork floats right back to the surface. In other words, you don't have to work at your higher vibration. You just have to release the thoughts that don't allow it. And that's why when you said a few years ago, you let go. Well, what you let go of is you're letting go of whatever the thought or the belief is that is not allowing you to soar with the higher vibration, you see. There is no fast process because you are a creature of habit. In other words, you have these things that you, by habit, by deliberate and not deliberate intent, give your attention to. And the long and the short of it is, you cannot give your attention to something that has a lower vibration without affecting your vibration and bringing it to a lower position. And fear is me in this moment holding something as my object of attention that is lower in vibrational nature than my source. And in fact, fear is meant to be felt in your belly the way it does because fear is your guidance system letting you know what the vibration of your attention is. Isn't it a wonderful thing? Do you go to the dentist and say, my fingers are so sensitive, whenever I touch something hot, it hurts. Whenever I touch something sharp, it hurts. So please, a little Novocaine in each of my fingers so that I can get out there in the real world and not be so sensitive. You would never do that, would you? And yet your emotions are the same thing. That fear that you are wanting to get rid of is your best friend. That doubt, that anger, that negative emotion, because what it's saying to you is, hey, right now, right here, you are holding something as your object of attention that is not in harmony with your source, not in harmony with your knowing, not in harmony with who you are, not in harmony with your desire. It's nice that you have the free will to hold your attention there. In other words, you are so free you can choose bondage. You are so free you can choose misery. You are so free you can feel as glorious or as rotten as you choose to feel. But the thing we so much want to impart to you is that you are choosing by your attention to the subject. So when you feel that fear, say, hey, I can feel fear. I've got a guidance system that is working, and what it is telling me right now, my vibrational meter, bless this wonderful meter, it is telling me that something that I'm thinking about quite a bit is not in harmony with who I really am and what I really know. And there are no thoughts that will give you a greater knot in your stomach than thoughts of disapproval of self. In other words, your inner being adores you. Your inner being knows your value and reason for being here. And when you choose, through influence of others, or as you've picked it up along your physical trail from who knows where, when you choose a thought that feels like, I don't like me, or I'm not appropriate, or there is something wrong with me, or I am not good, you are never, ever, ever going to hold those thoughts and feel good at the same time. It's sort of like saying to a child, Here's a little child who wants to take his shoes off and walk in the street. And as you look out in the street, you see all kinds of broken glass and pieces of sharp things. And this little child with his tender feet is determined to walk there. And here, just a foot away, is a grassy lawn that is soft and tender to his feet. And he steps into the street and is crying from the pain of it. And you say, step here where it is smooth and where it feels good. And he says, no, I want to walk in the street. And you say, but you would feel ever so much better if you would just walk here. It is a very small difference. In other words, a foot or two difference, and your vantage point is almost the same. In other words, it is really every bit as easy to walk here as here. And he says, no, I will walk here. It is illogical, isn't it? And yet it is almost what you do as you insist on holding thoughts that are painful to you, when a thought that is less painful is every bit as accessible, every bit as viable, often right there under your nose. This child may say to you, well, my mother walked in the street, and her mother walked in the street. In fact, everybody I know walks in the street. And so I think I should too. Ow, 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 ow. I dare not go up there where it feels better. Why not? It must be wrong. Hardly anybody is there. Must not be the thing to do. Perhaps I prove my goodness by walking here in the street. Ow, 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 ow. It is ridiculous, isn't it? We're wanting it to feel ridiculous. We're wanting to make a mockery of your willingness to hold negative emotion. We want you to feel the absurdity of it. We want you to recognize that there are choices, you see. Choices in the way you feel. Now, most of you don't know that because you think that you are feeling in response to what you're stepping on. Ow, 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 ow. You don't realize that you have choices about where you step. In other words, most of you are having feeling responses to what you are observing, rather than being deliberate about what you observe. You don't know that you have choices about where you give your attention. You think that has already been decided. It was decided by your legacy, by your heritage, by your parents, by those who came before, by your government, by your body type. In other words, you think you do not have choices about the way you feel, because you think you do not have choices about that which you give your attention to, because you have been so easily influenced by those who have been making a lot of... In other words, when the crowd is walking in the street moaning and complaining, illogical as it seems, most of you will follow, moaning and complaining. And it's a really rare one of you that says, but wait, it's softer here. Ah. As they turn to you and say, wrong. You must suffer and persevere in order to have growth. Have we convinced you yet of the absurdity of your choices? In other words, when you start approaching life purely in terms of vibration, and that is really what we want so much from you. You are energy-based beings. You are vibrational beings. That's who you are. Everything is about vibration. Everything that you are is pulsing and vibrating. You've done a very good job of interpreting vibration through your physical senses. What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. What you hear, that's easier for you to grasp, isn't it? That sound is vibration. But so is sight. So is smell. Your nose interprets vibration. Your taste is an interpretation of vibration. What you feel with your sensors in your skin is an interpretation of vibration. And what you feel in your solar plexus through the fear or emotion that you feel is an interpretation of vibration.